Baik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So, good morning, everyone. In this occasion, me and my partner, Nuflihin Surya Adam, we will explain about the error analysis that we find on Mia Aumara thesis. So for the first error analysis, which is about misinformation and omission, will be explained by Nuflihin. So for Nuflihin, time is yours. Thank you.
Oke, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for everyone, and thank you for IS for having me to explain the first material about error analysis, which is misformations. So as we know about the misformation is one of the indicators or like a parts of the error analysis itself. And so yeah, one of the first things we found from in the script or in the scripture or in the thesis of our senior Mia Omara, which is I found the several errors, especially in misformation in her thesis. So the first misformation, you can correct, you can see it on the table, which is from the incorrect and also the correct sentence. So and the first transformation, the number one. Oh, I'm sorry. So I having trouble in signal. So you can see in here at number one in the sentence. So I will read the incorrect sentence. First, Mia began her study in kindergarten at TK Aisyah. So you can spot the incorrect or errors that the researchers did, which is at the old words. So if you can see it, so at the word of kindergarten that the researcher having the spacing between the words kinder and garden. So for the correct one, so it's supposed to be kindergarten. It's combined between the kinder and garden and have no space. So we can conclude that at the first formation. So at the first formation, yeah. Itu disepasi antara words kindergarten ya. And then kita beralih ke nomor 2 yaitu factor affecting speaking performance. So this is another misinformation on the thesis of Kak Mia Umara, because at this point or at this sentence the researcher used another words which is like affecting. It's supposed to be affecting, because the word affecting and affecting have a different meaning, not different meaning, have a different like a function of it. Ini seharusnya itu affecting, bukan affect, karena pada umumnya affect merupakan sebuah kata kerja atau verb yang berarti memengaruhi, sedangkan affect merupakan noun atau kata benda yang berarti efek atau pengaruh atau akibat. Jadi we can conclude that the correct sentence is affecting, using a, not using e. And then number 3, secondary data source is a pre-existing source that has been collected for a different purpose or by someone other than the researcher. Okay, so you can spot in here again what's kind of like the errors that the researcher do. It's the same errors that the researcher have no space in words, like pre-existing. It's supposed to be we have to a space between pre and existing. And then number 4, series of fillers consist of the function, types, and cause of fillers. Well, this is the same pattern again about the errors that the researcher do, because that she used the wrong words or like like a verb or noun. So it's supposed to be that in this word or in this sentence, it's supposed to be that we have to using not verb one, but we have to using verb ing. Karena seharusnya menggunakan verb ing, penggunaan kata kerja ing pada tenses bahasa Inggris terdapat pada continuous tense, di mana verb plus ing berfungsi sebagai kata kerja yang sedang dikerjakan atau dilakukan. And then we going to number 5. Depending on whose standard of the audience. So I think what's kind of like the errors that researchers are doing here, I think it's same again, because you can see in here, depending on whose standard of the audience, you can see of the bold sentence starting from the on whose standard. It is like something mistakes and not mistakes, something errors that the researcher do, because whose is not appropriate, it's not suitable used in here, because it's supposed to be, if we want to correct this sentence, it's supposed to be like this, depending on the standard of the audience. So the whose words are renowned as a relative, so it's supposed to be changing into article because the standard is noun. It's not appropriate of this the form of the sentence. If we want to like correcting this sentence again, it's supposed to be the who's replaced with the article, because the standard is noun and the emphasis of the standard itself. And then yeah, we comes to another number, which is number 6, and I read that Minghe and Yuan stated that another eternal factor that affects students. So the researcher always like to constantly makes an error with the same pattern, either like in the misspelling or misused words. You can spot in here about this one, like in the sentence, another eternal factor. So I think in this sentence, the researcher is not supposed to use eternal, because the eternal is not appropriate on the sentence, because on the sentence like have different meaning about not like intended in the academic purposes words like that. So it's supposed to be if we want to change the eternal words, it's supposed to be that we have to use external instead of eternal, because external and eternal is have different meaning. Eternal is meaning like keabadian, whereas the external it's about the kayak lanjutan gitu loh. And then so in this sentence, it's like complicated. Like we found several errors, not only misuse words, but we found like misspelling like this one. The factor is not spelling like factor, but we spell factor. And also the students, it's lacks T. And then number 7, the researcher count the total types of fillers frequently was used by the students. I think it's not. I think it's that you can found this. You can spot what the differences between the incorrect sentence versus the correct sentence on both this table about this part number 7, because like this on in the count word is supposed to be that we use like verb to, because the form of this sentence of this the form tenses of this sentence is supposed to be past tense, right? So yeah, we have to change the count words to a verb to or counted. And then number 8. Number 8 is it's like a same errors that the researcher always do on the entire in the entire thesis, because that the researchers always have a errors and the same errors like misspelling like this. You can use maybe you guys like confusing what's kind of like a mistake on this words on this part number 8, because I think like on the table in this research that the display on this in the thesis, the researcher has misspelling the all right words. She uh she put no she put like dia di table itu tuh bukan ngetiknya itu salah, ngetiknya itu salah, misspelling itu karena dia misspellingnya itu tuh dia ngetiknya itu di table itu um, alright, nggak ada L, nggak ada T, sedangkan yang bener kan alright. And then number 9. Nah, number 9, produced by YS at the video. So you guys, I think this errors is like kind of different about the prepositions. So about this preposition, I think at this sentence is supposed to be not at the, but in the, not at the. So I think in this part is supposed to be the correct one is produced by YS in the video. So instead of using at, we have to using in the. And then number 10, my close friend Nanda Putralian and my best friend Bella Nurmalasari, Vika Artabivia, Fansuri, SPD, and Nuri Kasana, who's helped me to finish this thesis and always give me support, also happiness. It is same cases that the researchers, I think, made an errors in the using relative pronouns. For example, like this, she's not supposed to be using a whose relative pronouns. I think that she's supposed to be used like a who because like the different functional between the relative words between who versus whose is like a different. Whose itu lebih tepatnya itu kayak sifat gitu kayak like something kepunyaan gitu. Sedangkan kalau who kan enggak kayak objek kayak gitu. Nah, di sini dia salah. Malah menggunakan itu whose. Yang benar itu menggunakan who. Who helped me to finish this thesis and always give me support, also happiness. And then next. And then next we comes to number 11. Finally, none or nothing is perfect and nothing in this thesis. So I think this is like the same pattern of these errors that the researcher always like engage, like having misconception to using which kind of like preposition that is suitable in here. But in this not the but in this case it's not about the preposition that she's supposed to be using like a to be, not preposition. Instead of that, yeah, that no, not preposition like using these words. I think it's supposed to be not that she use prepositions, but it's supposed to be that she use to be, you know, like this. If I mention the correct one, finally, none or nothing is perfect, and neither is this thesis. And then, okay, wait. And then so we came to the another part of this sentence of the errors. The next part is omissions. So omission means that omitting or hilang di dalam kalimatnya. So according to Dulay, omission is something that the eradicate or something lost or gone on the sentence of the grammar or yeah something like that. So in this table, I will explain about the omission in this thesis. So the first omission is, I will read a lot of this part. The researcher explained that the continent to confirm that question can represent the classroom completely. So you guys might confuse what kind of like errors that the researchers are doing here. I think that you guys have to pay attention so much because on this why this sentence is incorrect. Incorrect because the researcher forget to not mention the article. It's supposed to be that the questions, not that questions. It's like the article. So the article is missing from this sentence. And then number 2, in circumstance, truity is expected to be good. So I think it is the same. same pattern of the mistake that the researchers having omitting something part of the sentence. The appropriate or the right version of the sentence is supposed to be that we have to inject or put these words these words to complete the sentence, because the sentence is like kind of like ambiguous if it's not have these words. And then number three, grammar is system. So guys, can you spot what's like the errors that the students do? I think it's the same pattern of the omission that the researcher always engage, because I think the researcher forget to mention the article on the sentence. That's why I'm considered the researchers uh uh did an error. It's supposed to be grammar is a system. So yeah, we have to put an article because to emphasize the system as a noun. And then the next editing term when the speakers is away makes a speech errors and times creating device for use fillers. Okay, in this part is already special because we can found the double errors in one sentence. Pertama itu saya menemukan errors, yaitu pertama itu di dalam kalimat di dalam term. Seharusnya kata terms itu ditambah s kan. And then kesalahan kedua itu yaitu di dalam use fillers-nya seharusnya. Nah, seharusnya itu tuh di use fillers itu tuh kita itu harus masukin preposition. Nah, prepositionnya itu apa? Yaitu use for sorry. Seharusnya tuh kayak gini. Editing terms when the speakers is aware makes a speech errors and time creating device for of fillers. So, jadi si peneliti ini lupa peneliti ini kesalahan itu selalu kayak lupa masukin articles atau preposition gitu loh. Jadi ya seharusnya itu memakai preposition. And then okay, we came to another part yaitu nomor 5. Speaker related to audience opinion. Nah, kesalahannya itu sama aja seperti kesalahan yang sebelumnya, karena kebanyakan penelitinya itu lupa nge-mention atau masukin artikel di dalam sebuah kalimat. Nah, ini yang menjadikan dia itu error gitu loh kalimatnya ini. Seharusnya itu it's supposed to be that we have to use an article prior to the noun. Karena seharusnya itu kan kalau kita mau nge-emphasize something kalimat gitu kan, terlebih lagi noun, kita tuh harus menggunakan artikel juga menyesuaikan gitu loh, kayak bentuk katanya itu apa dan kalimatnya itu apa. Contohnya di dalam kalimat ini kita harus menggunakan itu di, karena itu kita tuh harus menekankan kata di ini loh. Jadi the appropriate one is speaker related to the audience. And then next part is the listener to involve. Okay, so I think this part is ambiguous and errors because it's not complex as a sentence. So if I could suggest or the correct version of the sentence is supposed to be that we have to put that to be. Nah, jadi kita ini harusnya menggunakan to be gitu loh, biar nggak bingung. Nah, bentuk kalimat dari kayak gini, the listener to be involved. And then selanjutnya, the result of the questionnaire. The result of questionnaire. Nah, ini sama aja kesalahannya itu tuh, karena ya harus menggunakan S. Kalau nggak salah kan S itu tuh kasih tambahan kalimat S itu tuh ini loh, apa namanya, bentuk kata simple tense or something. Sorry if I wrong, or correct me if I wrong. Correct me if I wrong ya. Karena setahu saya sih seperti itu. And then next, errors. Repetition were produced because speech errors in the utterance speakers. So please take a look on the bold sentence of the because speech. So I think it's ambiguous and imbalanced. So it's supposed to be that we have to inject or put in some preposition to make it clear the sentence. So so the correct version the correct version is I'm sorry. So the correct version is supposed to be repetition word produced because of speech errors in the other end speakers. Jadi kalau misalkan kita tuh pengen ngebuatnya lebih clear dan benar kaidah kaidah kalimatnya ini ya, itu kita harus masukin preposition. Preposition itu yang of. And then for the next errors, divided attention because condition of the class made the students nervous and difficulty processing. Now, so what's kind of like errors that the researcher did in this part? I think it's same pattern because most of the errors that the researchers made was forget or missing something in this part gitu loh, and dominantly the article in the article. Jadi kebanyakan errors yang dilakukan si peneliti ini yaitu kayak ngilangin part-partnya gitu, entah itu kayak di proposition dan juga artikel. Tapi kebanyakan dua dari itu sih, kayak selebihnya itu jarang. Nah, kasusnya ini nih ya sama sama aja karena dia preposition di dalam huruf condition itu. And then for the next part is the excuse may affect speaking ability that all the time input filter emits speaking. Okay, so in this like having repetition errors on this sentence because the researchers are missing or eradicate something part on this sentence. It's supposed to be that we have to adding the article on the before the words of speaking. And then, yeah, I think it's less of my explanation. So we moving to another part of the error analysis. So the next errors will be delivered by Farras, Febriana, Satya. For Farras, Febriana, Satya, time is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Nuflihin and Surya Adam, for giving me a space and time. So the third one of the error analysis is addition. As we know, addition ini adalah ketika dari segi morfologikal ataupun dari segi bentuk kata ada kata-kata yang ditambah seperti S, IS, ED, dan lain sebagainya. Nah, bentuk-bentuk penambahan ini yang disebut dengan error addition. So, I have for example here. First example, that is means filler, a pause moment in speaking in which the speaker produces some utterance or just silence. Nah, that is means ini it's supposed to be that means, kayak nggak usah that's not suitable if the writer putting is in the middle of that and means. Cukup that means saja, tidak usah that is means, seperti itu. That means filler as pause moments in speaking in which the speaker produces some utterance or just silence. Okay. The second one is to cover this confusedness during speaking. Nah, confusedness ini bisa diganti dengan kata confusion. Jadi seperti itu. Nah, yang ketiga itu secondary data source is a pre-existing source that has been collected for a different purpose or by someone other than the researcher. Nah, pre-existing ini it's supposed to be di spasi seperti itu ya. Jadi harus ada spasi di antara pre dan existingnya. Nah, maka dari itu saya tambahkan di sana karena itu seharusnya di spasi seperti itu. Nah, for the last one is in another hesitating in speaking performance made student produce unlexicalized fillers. Nah, hesitating ini hesitating ini seperti yang kita tahu kalau verb ing itu merupakan kata kerja, tapi sebenarnya ini hesitation yang merupakan noun seperti itu diganti menjadi hesitation bukan hesitating. Non-lexicalized ini katanya itu tidak benar seperti itu. Jadi diganti dengan non-lexicalized, which is it have same meaning actually with unlexicalized, but you are not supposed to add un in the front of lexicalized. Seperti itu. Makanya diganti menjadi non-lexicalized fillers. Okay. Next page please. Nah, yang terakhir itu adalah misordering. Jadi di misordering ini there are two example that I've been analyzed. So the first one is she feels hard decision. She feels hard decision. Nah, jadi seharusnya ada tambahan tambahan partikel di sana yaitu sebagai ada tambahan partikel di sana sebagai penanda bahwa hard decision ini adalah noun seperti itu. She feels a hard decision gitu. Karena dari segi arti juga beda. She feels hard decision. Dia perempuan itu merasa sulit memutuskan. Dia perempuan merasakan keputusan sulit. Nah, kalau misalkan ditambahkan di sana, jadi dia merasakan suatu keputusan yang sulit seperti itu. Nah, lalu the last one is good language and environment can effectively students in English. Can effectively students. Jadi can effectively students ini belum lengkap kalimatnya seperti itu. Ada yang kurang di sana. Karena kalau dari segi artinya good language environment, lingkungan bahasa yang bagus bisa siswa efektif di dalam bahasa Inggrisnya. Maksudnya siswa efektif ini apa? Seperti itu kan tidak lengkap di sana. Jadi makanya ditambahkan help. Good language environment can effectively help students in English. Yang dimana artinya lingkungan bahasa Inggris yang bagus dapat secara efektif membantu siswa dalam bahasa Inggrisnya seperti itu. Okay, I think that's all about this analysis. Jadi kita sudah membahas keempat analisis yang ada. Nah, jika ada teman-teman yang inginnya, silahkan. Apakah ada teman-teman yang ingin tanya? There is any question for both of us, for me and Nuflihin? Silahkan. Kalau dirasa sudah cukup, adakah teman-teman yang ingin bertanya? Sudah cukup ya? Sudah jelas penjelasan dari kami?
Jelas ya.
Jelas, okay. I think that's all from both of us, Nuflihin, Surya, Adam, and I. We do apologize for mistake that we make. So the last I say, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you everyone for listening. Goodbye.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ayah.